What is going on, party people? Welcome to a late Monday edition of Dodgers Territory. I am your host today, Clint. It's just me. It's just us today. Alana is, of course, on vacation. I figured it's a late night. I wasn't going to have anybody try to stay up with me and rock with us in the chat, as it were. So it's going to be all you guys. Sound off in the comments. Let me know where you're representing your Dodgers fandom tonight, what you thought about that parade, what you think about your Dodgers heading into what should be and could be another busy winter for the front office. Very, very exciting times. Dodgers are back-to-back champions and going for that three-peat. Please consider liking the show, rate the show. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. Hey, you know what we can do? We can get there when Alana gets back. We'd appreciate it. Another one of the reasons why I'm a little bit later, feeling a little bit under the weather today, but we're gonna power through. This is the Clint, flu game or something like that. I don't know. I'm not that bad, but hey, the Dodgers had a parade inside their city today. Why don't we talk about it a little bit in the big ticket? There was a party through the streets of LA. There was a party at Dodger Stadium today. Highlights. We're going to have more highlights later on my other show. We're going to talk about it, me, Jeff, Kevin. But right now, I wanted to dive into a few things. I kind of takeaways, high-level takeaways from that parade. No drunk Jack Flaherty this year with the Bulldog, which was kind of funny. We of course, miss drunk Jack Flaherty. Anthony Bonda was probably the closest to being drunk Jack Flaherty this year. But we'll always welcome somebody else getting a little schmammied. Maybe they're getting used to it, you know? The important thing is Dave Roberts, he threw down the gauntlet. We're not stopping at a repeat. Let's hear quickly from Dave and hear what he has to say about into this offseason and looking ahead to 2026.
The last thing I'll say, I talked to a good friend of mine yesterday on the plane, and he gave me the okay to use this phrase. Pat Riley, what's better than two? Three! 3P! 3P! Let's go!
The gauntlet is thrown down by Dave Roberts. He likes putting another extra little target on our back. Let's bring in the chat here, by the way, if I could find the right button. Seeing a few people who are out at the parade today. My buddy Zed says, good parade. Stadium was fun. His head hurts. Ears are ringing. Vomit on a sweater already. I don't know what rhymes with ringing. Listen, I love the idea of Dave Roberts saying, we're going out there. We're going to run it back. Shohei Ohtani pretty much saying the same thing. Last year, Shohei said he wants to celebrate 9 more times. He wants 9 more rings. We already know Mookie Betts wants to fill up that hand, make 4 of them Dodgers ring, and then he could throw away. Actually, you go back-to-back 2 more times. Or I guess that would be 4. Hashtag math, baby. I know Jeff's in the chat. You get 2 more rings. You could throw out that Boston ring, and then you got 5 all Dodgers rings on his hand. Not the podcast, but Dodgers World Series rings. But, Shohei Ohtani says he wants 9 more. He's ready for another ring next year. Mookie Betts, a little more soft-spoken this year. It feels like some of the guys who have been through, who were here for 2020, that this is now their 3rd ring, they weren't as... I don't know if it's like excited, but, there was a lot more of been there, done that. One of the things Max Muncy said, getting pretty comfortable up here. I really love that. I do want to talk more about Muntz in just a second. How about Will Smith, who on the Sportsnet LA part of the broadcast over on the bus saying, does it ever get old? Or asked, does it ever get old? No, I want more. That's the mentality we want. 1 is not enough. 2 is not enough. 3 is not enough. You want those kids in... making their first postseason appearances this year, or even second. Somebody like Justin Wrobleski, who was on the roster last year, was not a part of the postseason. A bunch of dudes who have varying levels, I guess, of service time with the Dodgers and postseason availability. But anyways, it's not about that. I said I want to talk about Muncy, and don't worry, we'll lock it in here. I want to talk about Max Muncy, who I don't know, man. I feel like he was a little underrated this postseason and in this World Series. You look at a 3-hit game in Game 7. Of course, that massive homer to give us hope I said, don't give me hope. He gave us hope, and he set up Miguel Rojas for that ninth inning prayer. And, of course, Dodgers eventually getting a Will Smith homer. Bob's your uncle. Dodgers win the World Series. Good times had by all except for Toronto Blue Jays fans. Played mostly solid defense, but Muncy, he's just been a stalwart. He has been a staple, and I love this. James on the Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You know, he had that elbow injury in 2021, the final game of the regular season. It knocked him out for that postseason. They tried to hide it. They tried to pretend like he'd be okay, like maybe he'd be available if they make it to an NLCS. We later learn he has a torn UCL. You almost forget about what we expected to be a season-ending knee injury amongst all of the other storylines of this season. Of course, suffers that knee injury. 3 pitches before Clayton Kershaw strikes out his 3,000th. But I love this. When you count him out, he finds a way to step up and do something. And Max Muncy, friend of the Foul Territory Network, dude has been nails. Dude has been an absolute gift for this team. Somebody signed off the scrap heap by this front office, by Farhan Zaidi. He still has one more year, technically sort of under team control. It is I think a mutual option or a team option, $10 million. He's going to be back. We'll have more Muncy conversations of whether or not he should be the starting third baseman. We'll have those later on in the offseason. Elisheva Jones in the chat saying Muncy is incredible. I agree. Could you have a better third baseman? Probably, but it's not always about the best talent. We know how this team wins. Sometimes it's with the guys. It's with the characters. It's with people that are willing to sacrifice for themselves or sacrifice themselves for the better part or the better of the team, for the good of the team. And Muncy has been one of those guys. He doesn't care about the numbers or the accolades. Sure, he would love to be more respected statistically, most likely in the game. But the most important thing is the admiration and respect of your peers, of your teammates in that clubhouse. And Muntz is that guy. So I wanted to make sure we give Muntz a shout out. Celebrate, my friend. Good dude, really, really good person is Max Muncy, and I can't wait for the next time he's on Foul Territory. Or hey, maybe we finally get him on Dodgers territory this offseason when Alana is back from dodging elephants in Africa. I did a show yesterday, a solo show on my YouTube channel. If you guys saw it, appreciate you hanging out there. I had even more kind of takeaways from the World Series. Just, some things kind of sparked in my brain from the, we'll say, the not so humble Kike Hernandez today. Kike got me thinking a little bit more, and he had the post, I'm so glad the better team didn't win, which is just a great quote, because there was a writer or an analyst in Toronto who said, like, I don't give a shit. The better team did not win. Well, don't give him bulletin board or social media material, because somebody like Kike Hernandez will run with it. But as I maintained, the more I saw the Blue Jays throughout the course of that World Series, they're a good team. A very good team. I've kind of flip-flopped back and forth on whether or not, I don't actually think I've ever outright said they were the better team. I will say they were playing a better brand of baseball for sure at times. The times they were playing the worst brand of baseball, base running, it cost them bigly. It cost them dearly. Of course, we're not going to get too much into the Isaiah Kiner-Falefa situation, because he was told by his team to stay close to that base. Don't get doubled off. That comes a night after Barger is doubled off at second base to end Game 6 and send it to a Game 7. So some base running things that organization clean up. A couple of guys getting picked off, thinking they're stealing bases, but then giving up because they think they're walking. The Blue Jays were good. Something Alana and I talked about heading into that series. It was going to be about experience, a lot of the experience that Dodgers players had. Not only that, but of course, the coaching staff, and mainly Dave Roberts, who put together like a 98% masterclass of a World Series. What the 2% are, I don't know. Maybe Shohei going out for that third inning, maybe relying on Blake Trinan one too many times, but you don't know until you know. and he had opportunities. But again, Blue Jays were good. The Dodgers were able to beat them with two cylinders misfiring, or more of like a random misfire for my car dudes out there, my car people out there. At no point did the Dodgers execute a perfect game, innings 1 through 9. You can argue that game 2 was maybe the best game, Yamamoto going 9, but that kind of takes it out of the running for a traditional postseason game. You want your bullpen, you want to see your bullpen help you out, because ideally, if your starting pitcher isn't going 9, he throws for your pitches, maybe he's available or less worn out later on in the series. We now know Yoshinobu is a different animal. But pitching aside, or game 2 aside, the lineup struggled to perform consistently and keep the line moving. We talked about, they built innings. They couldn't necessarily finish innings that often. And credit to the Blue Jays on some of those for sure. I mean, looking at some of the plays defensively, Dalton Varsho is an absolute beast. He is an animal out there in center field. Beyond the lineup, the bullpen, we knew entering the postseason it was going to be a struggle. They gave us a little bit of false hope here and there early on in the postseason, but bullpen missing Alex Vesia, Evan Phillips, Brusdar Graterol, Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, Michael Kopech, Brock Stewart, all of these names missing. It was a shell of itself, like the only traditional sort of bullpen arms you had. And there are at least guys from 2024 were Anthony Bonda, Blake Trinan, and they struggled. They struggled mightily, but I'm not mad at them. They gave their arms to this team in 2024. So it was the starting rotation's opportunity to kind of give a little payback for the bullpen. So it's a wash. Next year, hopefully, the lineup could help out and just make everything easy for everybody. A nice balance of starting pitching, bullpen, yada, yada. And then you have a three-peat. But even with all the things that ostensibly went wrong, the Dodgers were still able to outlast the Blue Jays, like I talked about a number of times this postseason, or that postseason. It's the offseason now. Welcome to the party. It took a lot of plays to get there, though. It took a lot of plays for this Dodgers team to get there. I loved this. JJ Lamb 06 on the Twitter machine. Thinking about a few of those from all across the series, game 3 in particular, that 18-inning games. Tommy Edman has the error early, but he was part of that relay. He was a part of the throw to third that bounced off of Freddie Freeman's glove. Kershaw getting his job done in this postseason. He got his job done. Miguel Rojas being inserted in that lineup. Another notch in Dave Roberts' belt there. Miguel Rojas with the bare hand put out. Andy Pages steamrolling Kike Hernandez. Ohtani having himself some games. Kike ending that game 6 with a double play. 3 solo homers in game 7 to give the Dodgers the win, to give the Dodgers the repeat there. And of course, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It was a team effort, and that's really cool. Sometimes you see in the postseason, sometimes you see in World Series, one guy just kind of takes over, and that's fun. That's cool. We saw Corey Seager do that in 2020. You've seen other guys do it. Insert name here. I mean, Freddie kind of took over in 2024 with 4 homers, a whole bunch of ribbies. But this was a team effort, every bit of it. Is it the type of team effort that makes us feel good, that doesn't raise our heart rate? No. We all need to kind of still breathe and relax and chill. And me being a little sick right now, it's sometimes not the best idea to breathe deeply. But all of that to put together, here we are, back-to-back World Series champions. And I say we because we are along for the ride the entire way. And we're primed to do it again. Got to talk a little bit more about what could be coming up in free agency next. But first, I want to tell you guys, I'm going to give a little word from our friends over at Foul Territory.
FT fam, if you want more information about Superpower, I have real-life customer Eric Kratz with us right now to explain how you're basically getting the pro experience available for everyone.
$199 is the price, and that's a discount from Superpower. That's a discount from everywhere. You get so much information from your lab test results. Christmas is coming up here soon. You can give this gift to somebody else. Health is the gift that keeps on giving.
Your blueprint activated with Superpower. Not only did Superpower reduce that price to what Kratz is talking about, just $199, but for a limited time, FT Fam gets an additional $20 off with code TAKE20. Head to superpower.com and use code TAKE20 at checkout for $20 off your membership. After you sign up, they're going to ask you how you heard about them, and make sure you mention FT to support the show. Stop only reacting to health problems and start proactively improving your health based on real personalized data with Superpower.
Welcome back to Dodgers Territory. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me here on this Monday evening. If you haven't done it already, I'm assuming you guys did at some point. I'm trying to get to the store. It's a long way around. I could have just said go to the store, support us. But as I say, if you haven't done it, or if you did do it, that's the reason the Dodgers won. But if you're looking for a different way to support us here at Dodgers Territory, scan that QR code. Go to DodgersTerritoryShop.com. The link is in the description. We have merch. We have stuff. We have things. Buy it. It really helps us out. I got a couple of super chats and people hanging out with us in the chat as well. Going to get to free agency. We're going to get to things going on with the team. Two more things I wanted to say about the parade today. Of course, one big piece missing in the whole pomp and circumstance of it all is Alex Vesia and Kayla Vesia. And once again, we will say we send our love to them. I do wish, maybe I missed something. I do wish there was some sort of opportunity afforded by the organization or somebody just to give their thanks or their love to Alex Vesia, but also at the same time, I can understand them not wanting to bring more attention to him or to the situation, just kind of let him, be a man, go be a husband, go be away from the team. He knows this was for him. He doesn't need some sort of big show or display from the team, so he feels validated. He is very validated by this team. But beyond that, it's the final time we see Clayton Kershaw in a Dodgers uniform, coming off of an active season. Yes, he will be back next year for the ring ceremony, but just some love for 22. Great speech. Alden Gonzalez with the quote here, who covers, of course, the team for ESPN, amongst other teams in the National League or baseball as a whole. Last year, we all remember, Clayton says, I said I was a Dodger for life. Today, that's true. And today, I get to say I'm a champion for life. That's never going away. He goes out on top. It's what we wanted. It's what we all wanted for 22. And I am so damn happy for the man. Got some super chats. Jose Ayala, $2. Appreciate you. Says Alana called it. She promised the Dodgers would be okay. And I had a text or tweet conversation with somebody about that earlier today. She said, everything's going to be great. She told us that a number of times. And back in my head, I was like, quit lying, bro. What's going on here? But she was right. She nailed it. I don't know how okay we all feel coming off of it again. But thank God we got to this point. Francisco with a couple of super chats, as he does. We appreciate Francisco. Says Dodgers definitely need to shore up the outfield, both sides of the ball. My dream is signing King Tuck, or I'm assuming Kyle Tucker there, of course, to play right field, put the Teo experience back in left field, and not reminding a Bellinger reunion, depending on the money. Getting ahead of me there. Getting ahead of me, Francisco. He also has $4.99 super chat. Also, multiple relievers are pending free agents. The dream would be possible long lost cousin Edwin. Of course, Edwin Diaz, a free agent. We'll get into that in just a minute. Robert Suarez also opted out of his deal with the San Diego Padres, which tells you more about the turmoil going on down there in San Diego. And also, Steve Speederbuilt, $5, as we all just saw MLB's version of Ali versus Frazier, and the Dodgers came out on top. So many great moments on both sides. Greatest series ever. Really, really good series. And something that's worth a watch party down the road. I'll say that much. All right. Well, I've buried the lead on this a good amount. I said I wanted to talk about free agency, and I said I wanted to talk about this team getting better, which they're going to do. And I'm going to do it now in what should be a semi-recurring off-season segment, First World Problems. Look at that. It's like Alana was here the whole time, or maybe Alana was the friends we made along the way. Guys, in case you missed it, after the final out was recorded for the World Series, seven Dodgers became free agents. Michael Conforto, I know everybody, hold your applause. Andrew Heaney, Kike Hernandez, Clayton Kershaw, Miguel Rojas, Kirby Yates. Also hold your applause for Kirby. Of course, we know Clayton is retired. Conforto will not be back. Heaney will not be back. Yates likely not back. But the big names there on that list are Miguel Rojas and Kike Hernandez. And I've already seen a few people in the chat bring it up. You got to bring back Kike. You got to bring back Kike. Between the two, personally, I lean. If you had to pick one, I think I might lean Miguel Rojas. And that's not an indictment. That's not a slap in the face to Kike. I think Miggy Rowe just kind of brings more over the course of 162 plus the postseason, as where Kike, well, you know, he doesn't necessarily always care. I don't know if he doesn't always care, but regular season isn't necessarily his strong suit. But Miggy Rowe has made it known he wants to play one more year. There's been conflicting reports about it, but he told my buddy Doug McCain he wants to play one more year. He wants it to be with the Dodgers. And I do think he'll be back. I think they'll come together on something pretty quickly. It makes an abundance of sense for Miggy Rowe to be back with this organization. There is already a niche, a spot on the roster carved out for him in a utility role, and somebody who ends up playing a good amount of probably second, some third, maybe a little bit of shortstop. And for those who are probably going to eventually ask in the back, yes, Mookie Betts is going to be your starting shortstop next year because you're not going to go out. They're not going to sign Bo Bichette, and they're not going to put him at shortstop because he's not that good of a shortstop. Mookie Betts, straight robbed, in my opinion, on the Gold Glove, but that's a different argument there. Miguel Rojas just fits this team, fits the needs so well moving into 2026. We'll talk more about that, get more into the why about that in a second. But Kike, let's talk about Kike. He's going to be in that conversation for sure. I love Kike. I think he makes so much sense for this team in a number of more of the spiritual ways than necessarily the roster ways, but the roster ways, he's also very good. He's a good defender in the outfield, in the infield. He has filled in at third base admirably when he is needed. He has shown time and time again his importance to this team. But again, also the regular season struggles are getting worse. The numbers keep declining for Kike when it comes to the regular season. And yeah, ho-hum, the Dodgers are going to make it to the postseason, but to survive that again, or maybe you get a little bit of help, or maybe, I don't know, just not having something close to a black hole in your lineup might help you over the course of 162. For both of those guys, maybe mainly Kike, it might come down to what the second base plan is going to be. You do have Ha-Seong Kim. Do they want to, buy into him as an everyday second baseman? Do they want to use him as more of a utility guy? Does Tommy Edman play more second base or more outfield if you're not active in the outfield market at the in free agency or via trade or however it works? Does Tommy Edman maybe play more of a Chris Taylor type of role where he plays anywhere he's needed, but not necessarily having a position? You also have to wonder if he's going to have ankle surgery this offseason, which could affect his availability to play outfield early on next year. But seeing Elisheva wanting Edman at second base, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to be the second baseman, especially if you're going to go out and get yourself an outfielder. There are certainly some outfielders that you can try to trade for or that you can try to sign. Yes, at some point we'll talk a whole bunch about Kyle Tucker. Today is probably not today. Other in-house options for the Dodgers, more so specifically talking about the bench side of things, which is where Miggy Rowe or Kike Hernandez would generally slot in. You have Alex Freeland, who we saw make his debut this season, last season, however you want to say it. He's on the roster. Did not exactly light things up when given that opportunity. I don't know how much I buy into Alex Freeland as a guy they anoint as somebody on the 26-man roster heading into opening day. Maybe he's more of a break in case of emergency when there is an injury or something like that. But he is around. At least he is 40-man roster filler. That's important for him. Another guy that's in the organization that's probably the closest to making some sort of impact is Noah Miller. He is a glove-first shortstop. Played at AAA, hit 238 there in, I think it was fewer than 70 games this year. He's not a hitter. He's not a hitter. Very good shortstop, very good glove, very good arm. End of list. So, Kike coming back on another team-friendly deal, along with Miguel Rojas. Bring yourself some competition into spring training. Maybe that's the way the Dodgers go. Again, selfishly, the fan in me would love to have the boys back together. You try to run it back. But this is a club, this is a front office that always tries to find a way to get better. And if you can get somebody who is just leaps and bounds better than either of those guys, hey, I would prefer they go that route, if we're being honest. Let's talk about the biggest Dodgers need this offseason. We already know. We talked about it in that super chat a minute ago. It's the outfield. It's 100%. It's 150% going to be the outfield. The big names, of course, Kyle Tucker. We're going to hear a lot about him. Cody Bellinger opted out of his deal with the the Yankees today. Intriguing piece. And I am somebody, if you guys have watched me for a while, you know I'm not somebody who cares about bringing guys back for the sake of bringing them back. But at this point, maybe Cody Bellinger does make a reasonable amount of sense for this team next year. Somebody who can, play some right field, play some left field. He's not necessarily a center fielder anymore. But he could probably slot in there if you need to. But somebody who's going to hit 5, 6, or 7 in the lineup, you think he's grown by now. You think he's kind of changed. He's a veteran. He's played for a couple of different organizations. Maybe he's more willing to listen to hitting coaches and get some different thoughts on his swing. But I think he's also found his game. The last couple of seasons with the Dodgers, of course, he was trying to come back from that shoulder injury, the shoulder surgery. He was trying to get back to being that dude he was in 2019, who he never was going to be. That's not who he was. Somebody closer to who he is the 2018 version of Cody Bellinger, not necessarily the 17 or the 19 version. Those are outliers. Prove me wrong, Cody. Come back to LA and prove me wrong. But I don't hate Cody Bellinger because this is one of the reasons where we're going to have a lot of debate this offseason about people wanting Kyle Tucker. Yes, he is the sexiest free agent name that is out there, 100%. But he's also going to command a lot of money for a lot of years. And the Dodgers have some prospects, some really, really good prospects that aren't necessarily super close, but aren't very far away. Some pundits think that Josue DePaula could maybe make his debut next year, could at least get a cup of coffee. He's got some slug. He's got some pop. Far from a finished product. I don't know if you want to go into a season expecting somebody who is not a finished product to eventually end up being an everyday guy by the end, the end of the season or something like that. So this is where I think it's important to have somebody who is a filler, a stopgap. Doesn't need to be a long-term or a short-term. I'm not looking at like another Michael Conforto because he could F all the way off. With all due respect, World Series champion Michael Conforto. But a Cody Bellinger reunion, man, it doesn't not make sense to me. He's probably going to be able to maybe got on a 3-year deal. We know that his agent, Scott Boras, loves money and he doesn't care where it's coming from. So that means that the relationship with the Dodgers is all hunky-dory. He is fine. He has no issues. Yeah, it's stupid to sit here and say I would take Cody Bellinger over Kyle Tucker, which I'm not. In a vacuum, 100% not. But when you're looking at laying everything out, I don't know how I feel about committing to another 10 years of an outfielder or 10 years of another player or whatever Kyle Tucker's going to end up getting. So it's worth mentioning. The Dodgers are going to have the money to land Kyle Tucker. They print money, they invent money. We understand that. Doesn't really matter. But they'll have the money to land him. My buddy Cody Snavely, who covers Dodgers for Dodgers Beat on the internet, mentioning with just the guys that are coming off the the roster and free agency there. $54 million, almost $55 million coming off the books for the Dodgers. They're not going to decline those options on Muncy and Vesia, so disregard that much. But the expectations are Kyle Tucker might be a $30 to $35 million a year type of dude, which, yeah, Dodgers can do that. No big deal. And then all of a sudden you have a really good problem on your hand with if Josue DePaul ends up coming up and tearing the cover off of the ball, that just means Andy Pages needs to be really, really good, or he's going to lose his spot. Or Teoscar Hernandez figures it out or gets traded with a year or a year and a half left on his contract or whatever. It's about creating competition. That's the only way this team gets better, is by creating competition. But that's just sort of, I don't want to dive too much more into it. I don't think the Dodgers will be very active on the pitching side of the market. The starting rotation for next year is already really, really effing stacked with the guys returning. Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow will be in there. Roki Sasaki should get another shake at the starting rotation. Gavin Stone should be back and available. I'm definitely forgetting other names. River Ryan will be around and available as well. Shohei Ohtani, come on down. You will be available in the starting rotation as well. They're going to be pretty well stacked. Kyle Hurt also should be a bullpen option, but they will have pitching options on the bullpen side. Maybe you sign a couple of stopgap dudes, something like Ross Stripling mentioned to me when he joined us after the Dodgers won the World Series, saying, some of those, the kind of journeyman dudes, your Will Kleins, whatever, your Evan Phillips types of dudes. Finding those guys, supplementing them on the roster, they won't spend a lot of money. There will not be another Tanner Scott or Kirby Yates signing this coming off season. But I don't know. That's about it. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Went a lot longer. Apparently, I had a lot more to say by myself today. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I did want to showcase the last dog we had talked about on Last Licks, and that was Lady. I know either way, Alana and Guidry's Guardian always need donations. Alana does a lot of hard work to help support dogs that need love, need help, need health care, attention, new families, all that kind of stuff. It is not a cheap job, and Lady is somebody you can help. There's also a bunch of other critters you guys can go out and help, other good boys and good girls who are also good boys. So always just go to Guidry's Guardian. If you're able to get a dog, if you have a family that's ready and willing to adopt a dog, there are so many beautiful dogs, well-trained, well-taken care of dogs available for adoption. And also, of course, they're always looking for donations. One other thought. Now I'll save the other thought. We're going to continue the conversation over on my other YouTube channel, All Dodgers, with Clint Pasillas, Jeff Snyder, Kevin Skinner will be there as well. So if you guys want to go, shuffle on over there, we'll keep on talking. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. Jose had another $5 super chat. Another La Puente kid here, living in Bakersfield for 21 years. Amar and Azusa, always representing Dodger baseball. That's what it's about. Nothing brings us together like Dodger baseball, ladies and gentlemen. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Hopefully you enjoyed what happened here. Again, subscribe to the channel if you can. Trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. If we can get there before Riz can come back or comes back, I could say she was the problem. She'll also appreciate that. It's a Morgan Wallen song. Anyways, all right. I will see you again on Thursday with a guest. Go Blue. Bye.